This is the main interview segment of the New Dawn, and we are sorry for starting a little bit late behind schedule. Now we want to talk about something very important. We're looking at youth development and what the government is doing about that. And there is a very cogent stakeholder in this youth development, and this is the student body in Ogun State. So we have two gentlemen in the studio from the National Association of Ogun State Students, NAOS, who will be talking about youth development, government policies as it affects education, their skills, and what other things students are enjoying from the government. We have Olalekan Olubodu, who is the national president of NAOS, National Association of Ogun State Students. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you for coming. And we also have the National Secretary of National Association of Ogun State Students, NAOS, here in the studio. Both of them will be talking about what they think the government is doing to students all across Nigeria, Ogun State students all across Nigeria, and the policies as it affects them. He is Peter Adesanya. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, now, let's talk about Ogun State government and Ogun State students. Now for the policies that is on ground for students by Ogun State government, is it something that is worthy of mention, or is something that you want the government to do more? Let me start from the president now.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. First and foremost, we need to commend the governor of Ogun State. It is not something that is easy. From his first term, he has been implementing policies that has been student-friendly. I don't think we've ever had any governor in the state that has been more proxy to the students than he has been since his first term. And even though in his second term, you know, what we are used to is when people come on board for second term, they just do the little they can. But he's still been very conscious of his efforts, and we really appreciate him. He's doing a lot.
Okay, so we'll have to break down what the lot means when it comes to student welfare, student initiative programs, and all that. So the secretary will take us through some of the benefits that Ogun State students have enjoyed from the state government. We want to know what the government has actually done for the government, for the students.
So first of all, first things first, the bursary program that was implemented immediately he came into office is one that is worthy of commendation. The bursary program extended to different parts of the country. Even some other states, they zoned it to indigenous students within their state, but Ogun State government all across the country, down to the north, people were privileged to get the bursary from the government. And as at that time, I think it did a lot for students. And currently, across our tertiary institutions in Ogun State, there have been recent modification, TASWED, changing to TASWED, to Federal University of Education, OU, multiple NUC accreditations for their various courses, new faculties are springing up, new courses every day. All this is the progressive mindedness of the governor, and of course, the Commissioner of Education that have made this possible and made sure that students and the educational sector in the country, and in the states rather, are moving forward. They are prioritizing the educational sector, prioritizing the student constituency, and making sure that everything goes on right. Likewise, the recent palliative for Ogun State students across the states too is one thing that is worthy of emulation by other states. It's one thing that I will say thank you, Mr. Governor, for. And yes, ma'am.
It's okay. Apparently, Charity forgot that she would not be doing this alone, that I am in the studio this morning, but that's fine. My name is Opeyemi, and it's good to have you gentlemen in the studio. So we all understand that the Isheya mantra is the blueprint of this administration, with the Y in the Isheya meaning the youth empowerment. So let's talk about it. How has this current administration, how has it empowered the youth in general? Okay. I mean, any one of you can answer.
All right. In the area of youth empowerment, if we go back history lane, we'll see that His Excellency Prince Ogun has done a lot. How do I mean a lot? In the area of youth empowerment, we would see that recently, look at his cabinet, we would see a lot of youths being carried along, youth having appointments, youth inclusivity. It is something that it is really not common to see. So I believe that alone, it shows that he is a governor that is youthful at mind and has the interest of the youth in his plans.
Okay, the secretary, now let's talk about the skill acquisition programs. We know that a lot of skill acquisition programs targeted at youth by Ogun State government are there almost every time.
Yeah.
And what is the involvement of students in this area? We see youth all across other sectors, the agri sector, the educational sector for you. We see from the tech sector too, a lot of tech skilled programs are there. How accessible are these programs to students all across Ogun State, especially those who are outside Ogun State, but they are Ogun State students? You represent a body that covers every institution that Ogun State students are. Yes. How do you cascade these programs to them, or it is limited to those who have schools within Ogun State alone?
No, it is not limited to those who have schools in Ogun State alone. Why? Because the recently concluded Ogun Digital Summit brought together students from different parts of the country. Aside that, it was a general program for youth and people that are interested in the digital landscape. Students were actively involved. I can remember that some schools, even from Lagos and far away, were included in the program and were able to participate fully because many delegates came. They came to even pitch, to the point of even pitching some of their brilliant ideas to at the conference. So I think that is one notable event that we can say, okay, point to that. Students were actively involved, even beyond Ogun State. Yeah.
So for the chairman, do you see any gap between students in Ogun State students in Ogun State, and Ogun State students outside Ogun State? How are you bringing them on board to these programs?
Well, we have a special assistant to the governor on student affairs who is very student friendly, and he has been a very worthy bridge. You know, he has not allowed us fill that gap between the government and with the students. And now he has also extended his fellowship from students within the state and Ogun State students across Nigeria. So he's working hand in hand with the Commissioner for Education, who has also been very responsive to some of our requests. Just like my secretary said, in the just concluded rice palliative program, it went across almost all the schools in Ogun State. And in subsequent times, we just like to plead that such programs, we are working towards how Ogun State students across other states too can benefit from it. He also said about the student grant of 50,000 naira that was paid. So it was not just students from Ogun State that benefited, but at least every student from across every institution in Nigeria submitted their list, and quite a number
You mean
of
Ogun
them.
State indigene from other
yes,
institutions?
states,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think that would actually take me to this question. We talked about ICT, skills training, vocational training, and employment opportunities.
Yeah.
And like you also mentioned that there's room for, there was grant, 50,000 naira grant that you just mentioned. I'm sure you have a database of like Ogun State students. How many of them would you say had access? Do you think that a lot of them were beneficiaries to this? Do they have access to this grant, or it's just PR?
Well, for that student grants initiative, the government tried as much as they could to make the whole process very transparent.
Okay.
And the list emancipated from every student affairs, dean student affairs of every institution across Nigeria, when they submitted the list to the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education did the collation and the payment started.
Is this grant to Ogun State indigent, or if you're schooling in Ogun State, is it for Ogun State tertiary institutions or Ogun State indigents across the different tertiary institutions?
Yeah, I said it is for Ogun State students across different tertiary institutions in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's not restricted to just Ogun State students in Ogun State.
Okay.
Okay, now let's move attend to students now. We'll be talking about government and what the government is doing for the students. And the student is part of the huge development that we have in Ogun State. Sometimes people see students as being stubborn. They do not listen to instructions. They do not follow policies of the government to the letter. And sometimes they want to tweak what is on ground to favor themselves. So let's talk about NAOs now. What is the involvement of NAOs to government policies and how their members behave to government policies? A lot of students in some climes will say students do not actually follow the government policies and follow through or explain to their members what it means. For now, is it that way? Are you in tandem with what the government is having for youth development, in turn with the students' affairs, in turn with the student welfare, in turn with everything that involves the youth and the students in Ogun State? So are you following the policies of government in total? Are you not being stubborn?
As regards these policies, I would say Nigerian students, we are not stubborn.
Okay.
We are just principled. We know what we want, and we know the ways legally how we can actualize some of these our aims and claims.
Okay.
In Ogun State, it is not like we are not a partisan body. We are just partners in progress.
Okay.
So when the government is doing well, we commend them, and when there are some things we need them to buckle up on, we also try to bring it out. So every time when those things are being done, we use the same energy we have used to call them out to still appreciate them. So just like in some months back when we called the government out on the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, the bad state of the road, and after some weeks, work started on that in that region, and the same energy we went back to the media to thank the Mr. Governor for the swift response. So I think that is one of the things we have enjoyed under this government. Our voices are being heard, and our voices count. So, and some of the things when we agitate for them, we get the response. And I don't think there is anything more that we would have asked for from the government.
Okay, I'm asking this question, the secretary, because a lot of people will say there's no the involvement of youth to the development of any society should be limited to some areas. So if you are taking up almost all the affairs of the government, the policies, and looking into it for some adjustment and all that, is that within your purview to do as student associations?
Yes, it is, because most times I try to, every time the student associations, we try to see how far we can be useful to the government and to the society. Because for every society, the youth are the cornerstone of the society.
Okay.
And it is those youths that would grow to become the leaders, the elders of tomorrow. So if those youths can start taking part in many decision-making platforms that we have, they can start partnering with government and other corporate bodies to achieve change. I feel like that is enough for us as individuals and youths to do. And it is only right that if I'm learning the theory and practical of something in school and I can apply it, of course I can perform my own social responsibility by being an advisor to the government or anybody on certain policies and things that are taking place.
But they see some youths to be too aggressive to explaining their point.
Yes.
Have you looked into that?
Okay.
Now, it is natural for youth to be energetic, but the way you channel your energy is what matters. Sometimes it's not how you shout, but it's the point of diplomacy. Where you first channel your grievances with civility.
Okay.
That is how you achieve the aim you want. If not, if everybody starts shouting, government will shout back, we will shout. We will not reach reasonable compromise on many of these issues. But once we can channel our grievances with civility, and according to the 3 C's of Aluta, which is consultation, consolidation, and confrontation. Most times when people see that, okay, so youth come out in mass, mass protest and everything, it is that narrative that is painted. But nobody knows when they were in the room and on the table trying to channel their grievances as calm people, as civil people and everything. Nobody knows that time. Because for every struggle, there must first be the principle of consultation.
Okay.
It is when that consultation fails to build reasonable results, that is when the consolidation comes. Okay, you people cannot agree to it. Okay, let us reach a meeting point.
Okay.
It is when that meeting point cannot even be reached or it cannot be fulfilled. That's when you see protests, you see chants on TV and every other thing. So, but Nigerian youths are peaceful people.
Okay.
I can assure you that.
Yes,
Anyway,
and in addition to what you said, the world is evolving. So is the approach of the students' body to our grievances. Even though after we have exhausted the 3 C's of Aluta, as he has said, after the confrontation, no demand is always being met on the streets. We still have to come back to the round table again to reach a consensus. So now I think the best thing we have been doing now is just after the consolidation, we still go ahead for further communication again. So because if there is a way we can avert going to the streets, because at the end of the day, we'll still come back to that round table again. Nobody will just come to the street and say, yeah, this is what you want, you are getting it.
Can we not get to the point of going to the street?
But you know, I think this administration has actually worked towards not getting to the point of the streets, because you actually have a representative as a part of this government, and you that is there when government policies are being made. And so far, how has that been? I mean, what has been the reaction, and how has that been effective?
Well, I must give kudos to the students, special assistants to the governor on student affairs, in person of Comrade Adeyemi Aziz. Like I said earlier, he has been a worthy tool to the government. Even there are times when we even feel like, we are not getting enough. One thing we should understand is Nigerian students, we are Oliver Twist. We never have enough.
It's not just students.
When we have 99% of our agitations, we still want that remaining 1% to be met almost immediately. And he has been a father, he has been a very wise person. You know, there are times when he just has to call us, calm us down, and reach out to the Commissioner for Education as well, who is also a very responsive father. So most of the times, some of these grievances don't even meet the light of the next day before we get, and the governor may not even have to know about it before this, because these two people have been
so
very,
that is to say that it's been very effective involving
and
government.
From time to time, they carry us along with the government policies and how the student community can benefit from them.
So let's go back to youth development. There are lots of initiatives that cut across the world. And if we want to look at it, tech is taking the first position. Now, how is Ogun State youth, I don't want to say students now, because a student or not, you're a youth in that age bracket. How is Ogun State youth taking up tech development? Because we see a lot, even the minutest profession now is leveraging on tech and the AI supportive tools too. So are you bridging, or are you training students and youth to be useful in this area? We know that there's Ogun Tech Hub, there are a lot of initiatives, there are a lot of tech communities here and there. Is Ogun youth involved in this development? Because we don't want to be tracked back when it comes to technology years to come if we are not too developed. So tell us the process so far in this development.
Bridging the gap of digital literacy.
So far, it has been a very wonderful experience. Like I mentioned, the Ogun Digital Summit, at least 60% of the population there are students and youths. At least 60. Maybe the other 40%, maybe those people that are already big in the game that are no longer youths, where they form the remaining 40%. And aside that, Currently, we're working on a partnership with the Ogun Tech Hub to work on a wonderful initiative for students to get trained in various capacities, from blockchain and website designing to blockchain technology and all those things. So we're trying to see how we can make use of the existing structures that we have within the state, including the Nigerian Communications Commission for Ogun State. Yes, we're going to be making use of all those things from this moment onward to make sure that our students get better life, our youth are actively involved and are taking over the technology landscape across Nigeria and even in the world.
And as the national president, I have a strong belief in diversification. I believe we cannot just all face one way. We have to diversify in our efforts. To some extent, I'm not a very techie person, so I believe there are other aspects of government that we can tap into as well. I think the Ministry of Agric is one sector that we are not looking into. We are also looking at keen into that sector to see how the government and the students and constituency can partner. Recently, there was this, how do I call it now? This program I attended, organized by the Senator of Ogun Central, Senator Shoaib Salisu, where he empowered some youth in the farming space. I was part of it, and I saw a lot of opportunities in the fish farming industry. Where they are even, I believe, they are even faster. Anyway,
I think it was also part of the question I was going to just ask you, that aside bridging the gap of digital illiteracy, what other skill acquisition, I mean, are we, or is the government supposed to look into? And you've just mentioned agriculture. And while you were talking, you also talked about grants for, I believe the grant should be for medium skill, I mean MSMEs, you know, for trainings. Okay, are there also trainings, like have you been, that the government, you know, have put in place for students, for youths? We also have a place of culture, I mean, we also have, and sports, sports. So, I mean, let's talk about all of that. What is it for the youths in Ogun State?
In the just concluded Gateway Games, the students' body were fully involved in the process, where we saw the way the team, the way the whole event played out. And the Ministry of Sports is a very broad one, and this administration is just kicking off, and we are looking into partnering with that ministry as well to see how we can produce results. And we Nigerian youth generally, we know that the sport is one of the areas where we find unity, where we find unity of purpose most times. I believe when we start to talk about football, at times that is where that is the only topic right now in Nigeria that unites almost everybody, regardless of their tribe or race. So we're doing a lot of partnership with that sector as well. So it's not just tech, not everybody will like tech. And again, as the leaders of tomorrow, we need to understand that the students' body now is not just about university students alone. We also have primary school students under our watch, as long as they are students or indigenous people of Ogun State. So we are doing a lot of sensitization, and also how to build our electoral value for the government. You know, we have been sensitization in the just concluded first phase of the voters registration. There are a lot of campaigns and ads on people to just our students to ensure they took part of that process. I believe we have gone past that phase of life when our voters card should just be for official uses only.
Okay, thank you for starting what I wanted to ask the secretary about dragging some people into the net of believing what the nation can give them and not they can get
what they can offer
the nation all the time. So in creating awareness, have you gone to the sector of youth who are not in schools? not everybody will be educated, but there are other forms of education too. So what is your awareness like when it comes to those who are not in the four walls of schools or who are not trained under someone who is educated? Do you have a plan for them? What is your plan for those who, some don't even believe in schooling?
Yes.
But they want to make it in life. So have you gone to that area? Have you seen what is your awareness like?
No, like the president said, the administration is just kickstarting. And in our strategic meeting late yesterday night, we were talking about how we can bring in various people on board, various plans and projects, partner with various ministries and structures within the state to achieve mass emancipation of the youths. Now, concerning aside universities and tertiary education and everything, there are various ways someone can get ahead in life. There are technical institutes. There's provision for SMEs, for agriculture and everything. You don't have to necessarily be within the four walls of school to achieve all those things. So, and in our strategy, I think the president made mention of something. He said that what we're going to be doing is now we're going to extend our membership according to the constitution to many schools, including secondary schools within the state. So we begin all this level of sensitization while we work on partnering with various industries, from finance industry to different parts, where we can see, okay, this person, this is your interest. Okay, you do not have current interest in this, or because of the recent age gap for JAM students and everything, okay, you cannot go to school right now, okay, let us do this. You come to Abeokuta, there will be provision for accommodation, provision for the skills you learn at little to low rate, feeding and everything handled. Okay, what are the people you can partner with? Suggested Ogun Tech Hub, the Ministry of Housing, OPIC, all these people can come in with us on this project and see to its actualization. So we are going to enlist everybody. Everybody is going, even people that are not youths. You are all students in life.
Okay.
And if you are an indigenous of Ogun State, and it means you are a student in life too, so we are part of NAOS. So that is.
So NAOS is open for both old and young. Now let's go to another area which we see these days, that is the usage of social media in driving home some of the points that we want to drive home. When you look at TikTok, a lot of youths are there. When you look at the Facebook, a lot of youths are there. And let alone the YouTube, there are platforms that will make you sell what you want to sell. So, and most times when you go to these platforms, you see some people demarketing Nigeria. Have you looked at that area too? Because if the youth are demarketing Nigeria and they are not promoting the core values or good values of Nigeria and always saying things about the bad things that happen. Life is a two faces, you know. So how do you sensitize people, especially youths now, on the usage of social media to demarket the country that has their own blood and name? So let me start with the president.
I have one belief in life. If you want to start to pay attention to everybody being negative around you, you would never make any progress. So, and everything has its own advantage and disadvantage. So why not us? We should just focus on the advantages of the social media and harness a lot of the benefits that come with it. You agree with me that a lot of Nigerians nowadays have their source of livelihood from the social media platforms, having lots of followers, building up a big fan base that is going to run into making millions, and there's a lot of sensation going on around that space. And for those people that are demarketing Nigeria, as you have said, I don't believe in any wrong, and there is no, as far as me, I believe there is no negative publicity. It just makes the person more popular. And as the giant of Africa that we are, people must have something to say about us, be it good or bad. So it is now left for us to now accept those bad comments, work on them, and turn them into positivity. That is what I
So
believe matters.
criticism is
It's
part
of life. It's part of life. Indeed.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about like the collaborations now of government and youth bodies. One of the youth body is NAOS now. What has been the partnership like? How has it been between government and youth bodies? NGOs are there, SMEs, entrepreneurs are there. How has that collaboration been like in the recent times, and what is the impact on the society and on the youth themselves, the Secretary?
Okay, so for collaboration, I've mentioned a couple of collaborations that we're working on already. So, and we're even looking beyond within the state. Like the issue of people demarketing Nigeria and everything is something that we can partner with the NOA, Nigerian Orientation Agency, and see how far we can partner with them, see how we can reduce the perception gap that, okay, everything has to be negative that you are posting, everything has to be this, everything has to be that. No. There's a way we can leverage the existing structures that we have to push campaigns that would manage all these situations. And it is from some of these our initiatives that agencies like NOA can actively perform. NOA is not everywhere.
Okay.
But it is their duty to track most of these things. But it is also our duty as a youth body to reach out to them. This is what we noticed. Okay, these are the things we have devised for you. Okay, bring your experts in. Let us see how far we can work on this thing. Let us push a campaign out and see how far youths can engage. Let us see how far youths can become more intentional about selling Nigeria rather than demarketing Nigeria. So that is it. And demarketing goes beyond the communication. Marketing is from process of production down to
the branding too.
Yes, the branding and everything. So, and youths can do a lot in building the corporate image of Nigeria. Yes, we have our issues. Yes, we have the downsides to many of these matters. We have many of these things on ground. But how can we say, okay, as youths, this is our resolve? We would start doing this. We'll start pushing that, okay, at least youths went to Lumorok to clean the surrounding and everything. Youths went to this locality to say, okay, let us spare the drilling of a borehole. These are stories, these are things that can sell us positively. And instead of saying, okay, Nigeria this, Nigeria that, we are focusing on the positives, doing constructive criticism on the negatives.
Okay.
Because most of the criticisms we find online today, especially from youths, are quite destructive. It affects our corporate image outside. There are people that pitch outside, Chevening, scholarship, and all those things. By the time they say, okay, Nigeria, you are already at a disadvantage. But there's a way you can correct the narrative from your own individual place. There's a way you can make the world favor you. There's a way you can make the society outside Nigeria favor you. Okay, by the time they are saying, okay, you have multiple certificates, okay, you have volunteered in this and that, from environmental hygiene to this, to that, talking to students about basic stuff. All these things are things that would sell a positive image. Okay, wow, so there are bright minds in this country. Okay, so youths in this country are doing these certain things. Opens more way for UNICEF, the United Nations to come in and say, okay, let us partner with you.
And Nigerian youths are very, very creative.
Yes, we are.
Very, very creative.
You can't take that away from Nigeria as a whole. Regardless of any country we find ourselves, we see that it is a natural phenomenon for Nigerians to thrive and stand out. Look at, there's almost no sector in Nigeria, in the world at large, where we will not see Nigerians doing well. We hear news of medical students in abroad.
Making waves.
Find Nigerians there. entertainment, you find Nigerians there. So I just believe.
So quickly, I wanted to ask, now you mentioned that you have primary, secondary school students.
Yes.
I mean, they're all on the, do you have like a leadership training or mentorship for these youngsters?
As regards that, plans are on ground.
Okay.
We have not had any in time past. But because you would agree with me, the Ogun State Education Board for secondary schools are doing quite okay. I can tell you categorically this morning that Ogun State has is one of the most technologically inclined when it comes to affairs, how the schools are being run. So they are doing a lot on their own. But I believe our inclusion into some of these activities will even further boost the results.
Yes, the results.
Okay. Okay, we are coasting home, but before you go, let's talk about the way forward now. Looking forward, what future do you see for Nigerian youths these days, and what are the things that you think Nigerian youths are doing wrongly that you want them to correct? We are looking at development. We are looking at how we can portray ourselves as some body or someone who is standard in all ways. So what is the way forward for Nigerians when it comes to development, the youth when it comes to development, and keying into opportunities that governments are creating?
Okay, so first of all, there are some things that, like you said, that what are the things we can do to better so now, if student bodies like NAOS, NANS, NYCN begin to take advantage of the opportunities around them, the opportunities are bound.
Okay.
Leadership trainings, mentorship summits, all these things. It boosts people. It has a way. It might not be instant, but it has a way of building people.
Okay.
You hear when big men will say, okay, I attended this summit and it changed my life. These are the ways we can take advantage of the world around us to say, okay, let us do this, let us do that. And that is it. And some of the ways I feel Nigerian youths are causing a lot of damage to themselves and to the country is by, number one, the issue of demarketing, the issue of destructive criticism, the issue of lackadaisical attitude towards many of these opportunities that they can take advantage of, ignorance. So many of these things are things that we can work on together and see how far we can
go.
Anyway,
And to just crown all that, I believe political apathy is something we must collectively fight against as youth if we really want to make progress.
Because, well, I think that would have come under what I was going to say, that if you had the opportunity to give a direct message to Governor Abiodun on behalf of the students, what would it have been?
The chairman. So we'll leave after that.
So that we can just wrap it up.
Yes. If I have the opportunity to give a direct message to the governor, first and foremost, I would like to appreciate him for, I don't know if I can speak her dialect here. I'd like to thank the governor for everything he has been doing. We really appreciate all of his efforts. But then, like I said earlier, we are Oliver Twist. There is still room to do more. In the area of the bursary payments, we would like that it should be more prompt. And the palliatives for our students, for students, even those outside the states.
Okay, I want to thank you now for coming and talking on behalf of Nigerian youth on the program. Thank you, Olalekan Olubodu, the National President of National Association of Ogun State students NAOS. Thank you for coming. And also Peter Adesanya, the National Secretary of NAOS, he was also on the program to talk about what youth should do in ensuring that youth are portrayed right, not only within Ogun State, but outside Ogun State too, and beyond. Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for
And Okoyemi,
Oh, well.
I didn't mention your name earlier.
It's fine, no problem. I understand.
You need to leave.
But it's okay. I mean, this is where we draw the curtain today on the interview segment of New Dawn, and it's really nice being in the studio with this amazing gentleman.